Hey y'all, it's July the 17th, 2017, and y'all, I was thinking about making a video right now before I go outside and I get into some stuff. I was thinking about making a video and I couldn't decide what it is I should make a video on. I really just couldn't decide. But I was going through my comments just now and I remember there was a comment that I hadn't responded to. And I always try to make it a point to respond to all the comments in one way or another, unless I think you're a robot, and then I don't respond. But anyways, I saw a comment, and this comment was from a friend on the internet, and it was pertaining to this one video that I made. It's actually very popular video. It was a video about a YouTube channel by the name of Queer Kids Stuff, and basically it detailed a video here on YouTube that was a damn bearded nightmare. It was a lady bearded nightmare, disgusting, gross pig of a creature nightmare. And it was supposed to be educational for young children, and that was pretty damn bad. A lot of people agreed. In fact, pretty much almost everybody on Earth agrees. That was disgusting. Alright, we covered that. And of course, you can find that back. It's not too far back. I did that. It's called The Nightmare is called Queer Kids Stuff, I believe. That's what the video is called. Anyways, I got a comment on it from a friend, and he was talking about it, and we were having a back and forth, and then he said, shoot, man, have you seen that one video in regards to an 8-year-old little boy who, of course, he's transgender, like a lot of 8-year-old boys are nowadays. He got transgendered, not in a physical sense, but everybody around him, it tells him that he's a girl, and he likes that sort of stuff. Anyways, it's getting younger and younger and younger. There's going to be baby transgenders, but this 8-year-old little boy was extremely controversial about him is that there's a video of him on the internet at a drag queen parlor. I don't know what they call it, the drag queens, where they get up and dance and stuff, and everybody gets wasted off of alcohol and drugs. They had this 8-year-old little boy there, and he was, of course, pretending to be a little girl. But what was even more bizarre than that was that no 8-year-old little girl should ever be in that environment. It's kind of ironic, but he was there. And of course, eventually in the video, not only do you see him surrounded by absolute nightmares, not only do you see him surrounded by adult men in dresses and stuff, but then later on, not only are these men gyrating and stuff on the dance floor, I mean like gyrating for real, then the 8-year-old boy, he commences to doing quite seductive dance work. Quite seductive in front of all these people, and they're hooting and howling, and yeah, that's on the internet. I had mentioned that one time, I believe. However, I didn't make a whole video regarding it, and I may or may not do so. This video, it's more of a general sense. I wanted to bring that up because obviously, if you haven't figured it out, some people really do want to explain all sort of sexual positions to very small children and sexual behavior and all sort of deviancy and whatever you want to very small children. This is going on. Alright? Don't debate me about this. This is absolutely going on all over the place. It's more than Queer Kids Stuff. It's more than this and that and the other. I mean, this is actually going like real deep when you think about it. Alright? And actually, I was thinking about it the other day, and I didn't make a video because I forgot about it. But I was thinking about this in my head the other day. It's like, dude, all sort of perverts are trying to get away with parading in front of little children. I mean little children, 3-4 years old children, talking about, well, that's good, your private parts, you might want to do this and that with them and this and that with them. And you know what, that's so cool and stuff. It's just real cool. I'm going to tell you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. Right? Believe it or not, this is happening all over the place. It is an epidemic. It does sound like the Twilight Zone. It does sound like I'm making it up. It sounds like I'm a crazy person. A bit like popping in pills. Thing is, no, I'm not actually. Unfortunately, no, I'm not. And I'm not making any of it up. You got all these perverts trying to get up in schools and every which way on the internet, trying to get to young children. And somehow they do it out in the wide open. And don't go to prison. In fact, don't go under the prison where they might belong. That's absolutely happening. But what I was thinking about the other day in regards to that is, it's funny how we slip down this slippery slope. It's real funny because, believe it or not, I mean, some decades before I was even born, you guys, somehow, some way, people got it into their heads, and they were somehow manipulated into, they were somehow hoodwinked into allowing sex ed in schools. This is something that everybody knows about. This exists and stuff. Not everywhere, not really, but in enough places, people are aware of sex ed in schools. And way back decades before I was even born, you guys. Alright, there were people vehemently fighting against sex ed being taught in schools. It's ridiculous. Alright, even back then it was ridiculous. They said, what? You don't, how dare you even refer to sexual behavior and acts in front of our children and stuff. And meanwhile, at that time, everybody was like, hey, no, y'all gotta be more open. Y'all gotta be more accepting. Y'all gotta be more tolerant, alright? Sex ed, that's just gonna teach the children, that how to do it the safe way, how to be responsible and stuff like that, so they're more educated on the subject. And then you have people vehemently fighting against and say, you know what, actually, don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about my child, in fact. And no, you will not do sex ed in school because I don't need you as a grown person getting into all sort of detail with my child about yours and his sex organs or her sex organs. I don't need that and don't want that. And at that particular point, you gotta understand, a lot of people then went back to homeschooling, right? And to a lot of folks out there who continued on with the public schooling, they just went ahead and said, you know what, it's not really a big deal. It is all about education. This will make things better and stuff. Our children need to be educated on their wieners and vaginas. All right, so they thought, okay, this would be a good idea. Perhaps diseases will go down and stuff. Perhaps, premarital relations and babies, perhaps that'll go down. None of this happened throughout the entirety of my life, and even before my life began. None of this happened, what you're explaining. None of that. All the babies and the premarital babies and babies out of wedlock and all these diseases and all, you know what it did? It only multiplied, you guys. It only became more and more accepted throughout our society. And it did start way back when they were like, you know what, we need to put in that sexual education. Actually, no, you do not. In any way, you do not need to talk about homosex. You do not need to talk about trans sex. You do not need to talk about any kind of sex. You do not need to be talking about straight people sex at all to children. And you know what? They're going to push that envelope. They've been pushing it. All right, they've been pushing it. I, for one, I'm not accepting of it. I don't accept it at all. Alright? In fact, there's a divide being taken place. A very strong divide taking place. And as it turns out, a lot of us ain't going to accept this. We're balls deep in the tribulation. This is July the 17th, 2017, and I'll holler at y'all later.